What's up, guys? The Town Nick here, and welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be reviewing Fast RMX. Now, this is a kind of a port to Fast Racing Neo on the Wii U, and it is a game on the Switch, which came out as a launch title, but as only a digital download. And it's kind of a racing game that's supposed to be like a spiritual successor to F-Zero GX, where F-Zero GX died out back in like 2003, and yeah, basically this game is just a futuristic racing game that has fast speeds and crazy tracks and all that stuff, and it's a really cool and fast racing game. But yeah, this game is kind of a port to the Wii U version of Fast Racing Neo, and there's also a previous game called Fast Racing League on the Wii, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing of that here. But basically, Fast RMX has 6 new tracks out of the 30. The other 24 are from the Fast Racing Neo and Fast Racing Neo DLC also. And yeah, you go on insane speeds. There's 3 speed classes for the Grand Prix, and there's 10 cups with 3 tracks in each cup, and you go at insane speeds, but there's even faster speeds. Like you have subsonic, supersonic, and hypersonic, which hypersonic's the fastest and the hardest, while subsonic is the easiest and the slowest, like 50cc and 150cc with Mario Kart. And yeah, it is much faster than Mario Kart. You'll find that like sometimes you'll have trouble keeping up with the track because of how fast you go. But it's pretty easy once you get used to it. The controls are pretty easy. All you have to do is just boost. You have the trigger buttons to lean left and lean right. I also like that the Joy-Cons also have HD rumble, and the graphics are a lot better than Fast Racing Neo. And also it goes by at 60 frames per second instead of Fast Racing Neo, which only went by at 30. And yeah, there's I think 3 types of modes. There's Grand Prix, there's Hero mode, and the recently updated Time Trials, which wasn't in the original game but got updated, and it's basically where you're just beating the developers' times. And it's still just as hard as it was in Fast Racing Neo. I feel like it's a bit easier. I feel like especially the orbs that you collect, which you can get boost power, are a lot easier to see than in Fast Racing Neo. And I also feel like the CPUs are a bit easier also. Like, to be honest, I feel like that the difficulty stays the same, as in the CPU difficulty is exactly the same, but the hard part is just keeping up with the speed between hypersonic and subsonic. I feel like the CPUs are just as hard, and they're not you can't really change their difficulty, to be honest. Like, you can change the speed, I feel like, but you can't really change the difficulty of the CPUs. Like, even in versus mode, where you can also play multiplayer, where it's like local multiplayer with 2 other people, like right next to you, or you can do it with other people who have switches. Because you can actually take off the Joy-Cons and have each Joy-Con as a separate controller, which is pretty cool. I did find annoying though, the SL and SR buttons are hard to press, but that's with the Switch. But you kind of need them to lean left and lean right to do some hard turns. But you really don't get punished though as much as like in F-Zero GX. Like, if you hit the barriers, like in F-Zero GX you lose a lot of speed, but in here you don't lose as much when you hit the barriers. But anyway, talking about the multiplayer and also the online, the 2-player local multiplayer is very good, but then when you do local wireless multiplayer or online, you only get to play with those people. So if you only have like 2 people that you want to play with, and they have like separate switches, and you don't want to do split screen, you actually have to have it's just you versus them. You can't turn on the CPUs, which is really annoying. And it's the same thing with online. It's as many people there are in the lobby, that's how many people are in the game. There's no CPUs added. and I kind of understand that for online play, but for local wireless, it doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, there are 10 racers in this game for the racing, unlike in Mario Kart where there's 12 or 8, or in F-Zero GX where there's 30. In here there's only 10, so it's a bit less hectic, I guess, because there aren't as many racers as in the other Nintendo racing games. But it's still just as intense and very hard also. And there isn't any like item boxes like in Mario Kart, all that stuff. So it's all based off of skill instead of luck, like what item you'll get. So basically, it's all based on skill. There's a bit of strategy involved, like when you want to use your boost. Like sometimes you want to hold your boost and like maybe use it for the end. You don't want to have your boost up to full, because if you get more orbs, then they're kind of wasted because you won't get any more boost. And each car has like different boost power, and you'll see that in the car select screen. But yeah, you really just want to keep your boost, because also if you fall off, you're I think in Fast Racing Neo, if I remember correctly, if you fall off or died, or even in Fast Racing League, if you fall off or died, you would automatically get, I think, like half a bar of boost. So right when you respawn, you could just boost automatically. But in this game, when you die, you actually keep the amount of boost that you had before. So if you had full amount of boost, then you still kept your full amount of boost, which I thought was kind of unique, and it does give more strategy, because maybe you want to hold your boost so that in case you fall off, you can get full acceleration by just boosting when you respawn. So I found that a bit more strategic, and I kind of liked it. But yeah, talking about the racers too, though, there are a lot that come back from Fast Racing Neo. Like you have Volcon Capital, you have Bliss LLP, Spark Unlimited, and a couple others that are also in this game that return from Fast Racing Neo. So for example, like one of my favorite cars were Spark Unlimited, and I love that in Neo, and I still love it in this game because it's just such a great car in my opinion. I feel like it has a good balance of acceleration and speed, and also it has maximum boost power, which is really good. And that's the thing that they added too, was in Fast Racing Neo they didn't really tell you that the different cars had different boost powers. I don't think they did, but in this game they do, so it adds a third variable of what your car has. There also is the weight, which kind of does make a difference for some areas, like maybe when you're flying through the sky and stuff. Maybe you want a lighter car to fly up higher so that you don't get dragged down, and like maybe there's a hard course with a hard jump to make, so you want a lighter car. And it does tell you that in the description of the cars. It'll show the weight of your car for each vehicle. But yeah, there aren't any racers in the cars. Like there's no like story like in F-Zero GX where each like character has their unique personality and all that stuff. They don't really tell you about the racers, but it's just basically the cars, I guess, and maybe you're remote controlling them somehow. But yeah, the cars are very futuristic looking, and some of them are really cool looking. Like this one right here is a zebra. It has like zebra skin on it, and there are a couple others that are really cool looking, and I really do love the design of each and every one of them. There's also some unique aspects in some of the tracks. Like there's this one new track where there's like UFOs like flying around, like just to have that futuristic vibe to it. And there's like tractor beams that are the different colors that are the booster power, and you have to be that color, and it'll literally bring you up and also boost you for what color the tractor beam is, which is really cool, and that wasn't in Fast Racing Neo. They also did bring back the I think there's this one new course. I don't know if it's new or not because I never played the DLC for Fast Racing Neo, but there's one course where there's actually hoops of the boost, which I forgot to mention that there's boost power in this game where you switch between the two colors, which is also another aspect of strategy where you want to keep like you want to keep switching colors, but you have to like know what color to switch to at certain points of the track, and you kind of have to know the track in order to perfect it and know where the boost pads are and know when to switch to the right color. And it's pretty cool. So there's one course where like there's actually hoops of it where it's like there's like magnetic fields of like blue or orange, and it's really cool how they kind of do that. And when you're going through, it actually boosts you through, kind of like the booster powers on the track, which is really cool. And another thing that I want to mention is that you don't have all the vehicles in your possession. You only have I think only 3 for the when you start out with, and then you unlock the rest by doing the Grand Prix, and also you unlock the other cups by doing the Grand Prix, which you start off with 3 cups and then you get the rest later. And I think you actually have to unlock the other cups for the other leagues, which is pretty weird, but I think that's how it is. I don't actually remember, but yeah, you also unlock the vehicles the same way. So sometimes you'll unlock a cup and a vehicle, sometimes you'll only unlock a vehicle, and other times you'll only unlock a cup. It just depends on what you do. But I don't think it's like, I actually don't know, but like if the different vehicles are set to a certain cup, or like I don't know how it really is. Like maybe you'll unlock Volcon Capital with like a certain cup, or if I think it's a certain win, like maybe your first win you get this certain car. I don't really know how it is, but I just did it in the order that the cups are placed, and I just got the cars. I think it actually was in order. So like maybe if you do Supersonic and like the 3rd cup, you'll get like the 3rd to last vehicle or whatever. Because I think I remember doing that because I wanted to get Spark Unlimited, and so I think it is in order. Another thing I want to mention is that the stage select for wireless and online multiplayer, it's pretty cool. Each character or each person actually has a selection of 6 different courses. So your selection of 6 courses is different than another player's, which I kind of thought was weird because like there won't be like an equal vote, but it just picks at random. So it's kind of weird, but it also is pretty cool though, because you have basically all the courses anyone can pick, but they're a selection of 6, like a group of 6 that you only get to select, but it's different for everyone else. So I guess it gives some like randomness to it, which is another thing. In local multiplayer, where you have the 2 Joy-Cons and you're playing split screen multiplayer, you can actually choose either random cup, random track, random or like you get to choose a track, or you get to choose a cup. So you don't get to choose, like you don't get to choose how many races you want to do, or how many. I think you actually can change your laps, but you can't change how many like races you want to do. You can only select a random cup, or a choose a cup at the most, or at the least choose a track or a random track, which I guess is kind of cool if you want to just race a friend like for just like 2 minutes, or like for 5 minutes, and you don't have that much time. But like if you want to play with them for a long time, like you have to finish the cup or finish the track, and then it'll bring you back to the menu, and then you have to go back to local multiplayer. You have to log in your Joy-Cons, you have to select your car, and then you have to do it all over again, I'm pretty sure. Either that or it brings you back to the screen, but doesn't continue on. But I kind of forget what it does. Anyway, like I said, the graphics are really good. The weather effects, as you can see right here with the rain, are also really impressive, and it also is really impressive for having it as a handheld too, which is another thing. And having this game as a handheld and being able to race anyone that's like right next to you is really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. And it's definitely better than Mario Kart, to be honest, because in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, if you already own Mario Kart 8, like, there's no new courses, but in this game, you have 6 new courses at the least. So if you did get Fast Racing Neo, you still get something out of this game, unlike Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which only gave you, what was it, battle mode. And then in this game, also, it's only $20, where Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 60. So cheaper price, and plus you're getting more than the game that you bought before. And especially if you didn't buy a DLC for Fast Racing Neo like I did, then you're getting more than 6 new courses technically. And in better graphics, you get more vehicles, and you get hero mode for the new tracks, and you get time trials for the new tracks. Was another thing. Hero mode is also back in this game, where you have to finish first. Your boost power is also your shield power, which is more like F-Zero GX, where your boost is your shield power. But every orb you get, though, will increase your boost / shield by a lot more than it does in like Grand Prix and stuff. So it's a lot different, but and it's a lot more difficult too, especially if you're doing a course that is very tricky and you can fall off easily, or a course that has a lot of sharp turns and you hit the like boundaries very easily, which can lose your shield by a lot. So it does, the boundaries I guess can affect you in hero mode, but it doesn't really affect you that much in Grand Prix and stuff. But yeah, hero mode is still just as hard, and it still is mirrored like in Fast Racing Neo. So it's basically the mirror mode of Fast RMX, and they don't say that in the rules. The only rules was finish first, and your boost power is also your shield power. And I think they actually took out a rule, which I forgot what it was, but I remember they took out a rule from Fast Racing Neo, and I think it was like don't die or something like that. I don't really remember what it was, but they definitely did take out a rule, because there was 3 rules in Fast Racing Neo, but in this game there are only 2 rules, which is finish first, and your boost power is also your shield power. So yeah, it's kind of hard, but still is a good challenge to play on. And then you also have the time trials, like I said, just beat the developers' times. And it's a lot of content, to be honest. So for a $20 game, you're getting basically just as much as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You're getting 30 tracks, which is, I think, just a little bit less than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's still a lot for a $20 game. So you're getting basically Mario Kart 8 for a third of the price, with a little bit less of the tracks and a little bit less of the, I guess, customization aspect of like the different characters and the different carts. You don't get as many as in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but you still are getting the time trials, you're getting the Grand Prix, 3 different classes, bunch of tracks, and a lot of great stuff in this game. So I really recommend it if you have a Nintendo Switch, and I would probably rate it an 8 out of 10. It's a really good game, and I really did enjoy it. So thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more reviews right here on Tell Nick. Bye.